We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Volcanoes, migrants, taxes, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. A volcano erupted in southwest Iceland on Monday after weeks of earthquakes. The eruption, which sent lava high into the air, was no surprise, but it was larger than expected. Lava flowed about 1.5 miles from Grindavik, but the fishing town's 4,000 inhabitants were evacuated earlier, so there was no immediate threat to people. The location of the fissure does pose a risk to property in the town and the nearby Svartsengi power plant. The eruption is not sending ash into the sky, so it isn't expected to cause as much disruption to air travel as the 2010 volcanic blast that grounded European flights for more than a week. With record numbers of migrants crossing into the United States illegally, Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed legislation Monday permitting Texas law enforcement officials to arrest undocumented migrants crossing the U.S.-Mexico border. The measure escalated Abbott's confrontation with President Joe Biden over border policy. Texas's state legislature passed the bill last month despite arguments by immigrant rights groups that say the law would violate the Constitution and fuel racial profiling. Abbott said the measure was needed to counter a surge in migrants crossing the border without legal authorization. While the Biden administration has continually refused to enforce U.S. immigration law, congressional Republicans are negotiating with Democrats for tighter border policies in exchange for more Ukraine aid. The border crisis has stretched across America as New York Mayor Eric Adams continually asks the Biden administration for more aid and help in dealing with these migrants. The Biden administration has so far refused to give such aid. The United States has announced the launch of a multinational force to protect trade in the Red Sea after attacks by Yemen's Houthi rebels forced at least a dozen shipping lines to suspend operations. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said on Monday that Bahrain, Canada, France, Italy, the Seychelles, and the United Kingdom would be among the countries joining the 10-nation multinational security initiative. Countries that seek to uphold the foundational principle of freedom of navigation must come together to tackle the challenge posed by this non-state actor, Austin said in a statement describing the attacks as an issue that demands collective action. The announcement comes after the U.S. and U.K. navies said over the weekend that their destroyers had shot down a total of 15 drones in the waterway. Energy giant BP said on Monday it was one of those companies that had stopped sending tankers through the Red Sea due to the drone and missile attacks. The announcement sent global oil prices surging. The Red Sea is a vital shipping lane, but it has become increasingly dangerous since the Houthi gunmen started attacking merchant ships following the eruption of the Israeli-Hamas war. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant signaled Monday that Israel would gradually move to the next phase of its military operations against Hamas in the Gaza Strip. The remarks came after talks with Defense Secretary Austin, who visited Israel to push for more surgical Israeli operations against Hamas and increased efforts to avoid civilian casualties as the death toll in the region increases. In the next phase of Israel's efforts, North Gaza residents who followed Israel's instructions to evacuate to the south would probably be able to start returning, Gallant said. Hunter Biden is not the only Biden to avoid paying taxes. President Biden's daughter Ashley owes approximately $5,000 in income taxes, according to lien documents obtained by the New York Post on Monday. The Pennsylvania Department of Revenue's Philadelphia County office informed the 42-year-old that a $5,079.44 tax lien had been imposed on her property in a December 1st notice. Liens are used by the government to recoup money from unpaid taxes. In this case, the first daughter had 2 liens placed on her property for failing to pay income taxes in 2015, when her father was serving as vice president, and 2021, during the first year of her father's tenure as president. Former President Donald Trump is leading President Biden among young voters by a 13-point margin, according to the latest Fox News poll. 41% of respondents under 30 said they'd vote for Trump, age 77, in the 2024 general election, while 28% said they'd vote for Biden, age 81. Those under 45 years old also favored Trump, with 41% saying they'd vote for Trump versus 31% who'd cast their vote for Biden. Trump is also more popular among women voters at 41% to 34% for Biden, according to the poll, which interviewed 1,007 registered voters randomly selected between December 10th and December 13th. The polling results come as the Trump campaign is targeting young voters and widening its support among GOP voters. On Saturday, Trump made a stop at the University of New Hampshire and railed against Biden's economy and the migrant crisis at the southern border. According to a USA Today report that interviewed Republican and Democratic college students outside the rally, some young voters agreed that Biden's handling of the economy and foreign affairs were critical issues heading into the 2024 election. Young voters were key in Biden's 2020 victory. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.